I'm going to draw it, I'm going to tackle it in a different way. The background is very, very dark on this reference photo, or the way I've manipulated it in Photoshop. I want that drama, that dramatic light on the wolf, and to make the wolf look even more colourful, more dramatic, the background I've decided to make even darker, or much darker really than it was in the reference photo, so that that becomes more of a mysterious dark background. Now normally you'd have to tackle this by leaving areas where the leaves are catching the light in the background, but I'm going to try using the new Clairefontaine Fixative, because in theory that should make this background much easier, much faster to do. Now normally if I was putting soft pastel down like this, black, you wouldn't be able to get anything really on top of it, certainly nothing light and nothing vibrant at all, because this is pretty much going to fill the tooth of the paper up, so those colours then would really muddy and dirty. Now with this fixative, it's brand new to me, I know it's new to lots of you as well, came out just towards the end of 2020 going into 2021, so it's not really in the shops much as I'm doing this video, but it is starting to come out. So I want to try and do different things to see how it can actually help us. So you've got to do a lot of testing yourself. Make sure you're testing things on scrap paper, and that's what I did with this background. I used a couple of different black, a pencil to test with. I've used my black new pastel stick, that's the darkest of the darks, and I also used a couple of normal black pastel sticks, so a Jackson's one, a Rembrandt one, and then on some, as I said, spray pastel matte paper, I then sprayed them to see what would happen, because you never know when there's a new product, and lots of these pastels have different binders in them, so you don't know what's going to happen there either. And what I found was that the new pastels, so the darkest of my blacks, actually went lighter after I sprayed it, and it was quite a bit lighter as well. And this didn't really happen much at all with the soft pastel sticks, and it didn't happen a great deal with the pencils. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want an extremely dark black and you're going to spray the new pastels, it's going to lighten, so you may have to re-establish or redo some of that black on top. So I chose in this instance to use one of the other softer sticks that didn't really have much of an effect. You can see there I'm just softening the edge as it's going into the wolf. I don't want a hard edge there, and this would be best to do as well, laying this amount of black down flat. I've got to have it at a bit of an angle really because I'm filming, but you can see I'm trying to keep the dust away from the wolf as well. I'm using the glassine paper. You see, it's really important to get a nice soft edge right there on that wolf. So this is a bit of a dirty, messy type of thing to be doing. I am slightly blowing away from me as well with the pastel to try and keep that dust away from the wolf. As I said, I am blowing it away from me. I've also got a filter machine going in the room. It's not a substantial amount of dust, but I am trying to minimize it as much as possible. Now I'm just going to carry on blocking this pure black in, and then I'll show you how I'm going to seal it. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies, and I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon. So I've got my drawing now perfectly flat on the table. The table is flat, it's got to be flat, and I've also traced and then cut out from glassine paper the shape of the wolf. Okay, so that's going to be my template to keep the fixative going on the wolf. So I've used some magnets to hold that securely in place. I'm using that Clairefontaine new Pastel Revolution Fixative, and I'm just going to spray that over the black area, trying to keep it away from the glassine paper. If I can, you could use a different paper, but I don't want that glassine going on there for being wet there long, so I'm going to remove that now straight away so it doesn't start soaking through. So just pull the magnets off, lift that up carefully, and there you go. So I didn't spray the wolf as well because this is such lots of vibrant colours in there. I wanted to make sure that I didn't dull them down at all with the spray. There's no need for the spray on the wolf. I know I can put a lot more layers on top. I've done this purely for the background, and I'm just giving it a quick dry with a hairdryer. So that background is now completely dry. It barely comes off at all, even if I rub it hard with my finger, hardly anything at all comes off. So that's given me the advantage now. You can see on that reference on the left how those background areas are really dark. But what it means is I can just use my pencils or my soft pastels and go over this black. You see, it's barely, nothing's lifting up really. It's almost as if I'm using black paper there now, and I can get nice, really rich, vibrant colours if I want to, just using my stump there, because the background needs to have everything slightly soft, and I'm going to simplify the background even more than I'm seeing it in the reference photo, just so that it pushes, as I said, it back even further. But I'm going to take my time, add in the suggestion of these logs and leaves and sticks. That's going to put the animal in its environment, and if I find I need to, I can always make the black even blacker with my new pastel stick, just in places then around the leaves and really in the depths of the darkness in the background. But as you can see, that whole idea of being able to fix a background like that, that's opened up some more, you know, potential ways of tackling various subjects. And as I said, it's made it a lot cleaner for me to be doing this stage. Otherwise the potential of that black getting on my hand and smudging, you know, it just makes things much more tricky to do. So that's a new tool in the toolbox. You could use a different fixative, I suppose, but some fixatives, what they actually do, they seal in or put a layer on top of the pastel, and sometimes that layer can be a little bit shiny, almost like when you put hairspray on top. If you then try and put pastel on top again, it won't work. But with the Clairefontaine one, it's more of a solvent that's actually really dissolving the pigment into the paper, and that's why it seals it there, but the surface then is still very similar, thus allowing us to be able to go on top with more pastel.